Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the May Student Lounge. And I'm Cheryl Levy, and today we're going to talk about Trello. And Trello is a tool that you can use for a lot of different things. It can be for a business, it can be for personal, but I use it for genealogy. And so I'm going to show you a few ways that I use it, and then we're going to open it up for questions after that to see how you can use it for your genealogy projects. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is share my screen and close all these other things I don't need to have open. Sorry about that. Should have had those closed. Goodness. Okay, and I'm going to minimize this. Okay, so to get to Trello is very, you just have to type in Trello.com. And I use a free account, but there are paid accounts too. A free account lets you have 10 boards, and you can close some so that 10 active boards, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the first thing that I would do is go to Trello/guide. And what better way to learn about a website or a tool or even the app than going to the people who created it. And so anytime you're starting with a new tool, that's the best thing to do, is see why it was created and how they are suggesting it to use. And even troubleshooting can be in there, resources, all kinds of things. So this, where I'm going to start is with Trello's guide. So first I want to say Trello is a tool that helps you to track your progress in a project, or a system to track what you want to do, is what you need to do for that, what's done, what still needs to be done, and then it's completed. And that's the basic of how Trello works. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go learn about Trello. And so the basics is that it looks something like this. You have a background, which is your workspace, and you're going to have cards and lists and boards. So this is the guide. So what is a board? A board is here, and it represents a place to put information. And it can be different topics. So for instance, if you had a project, this example shows things to do, things you are doing currently, they're in progress, and then things that are done. And you're going to be able to move them from board to board to show what's still left to do. And what is a list? On the board, there's a list of things that you have for that topic. So pretty clear. And what is a card? Each one of those little lists is called a card, and they are movable. And you can move the boards as well. And then a menu is on the side. You can have a menu. So I am going to open my account. So as I said, I have a free account, and I'm just going to, my toolbar keeps getting in the way. Stick it up there. Okay, so this is my account. I have 3 workplaces, which just means the area that I'm working and the topics that I'm working in there. So I have a personal one, I have one for my business, and then I have a demo one that I'm developing. So maybe we'll go there first. So you have to change it up here where it says Workspaces, and I'm going to go to the demo. maybe I should, sorry, this is a live demo. So I'm going to sign out first. And I'm going to show you from the beginning how to start if you don't have a Trello account. So if I want to start a new account, is it going to let me do it? It's not going to let me do it. Oh, I have to log out first. That makes sense. Okay, so this is where you would sign up. You just sign up with an email and it's free. I'll just put mine in for, and there's a little video you can watch. And then you can sign up and set up your own account. Oh, and they're going to make me do this. Well, that's to make sure you're a real person. And they do both the password and then you come into your account. So I'm on a free account. I can have 10 active boards, but I can close a board and they're at the bottom. Let me show you here. Go to mine. So you can close a board too, and then you just go to the bottom of the screen and you can reopen them again. But you can only have 10 boards active at a time. And see, this is showing me I have 2 remaining spaces that I can have an active board. But I can close any of these, they'll be saved there. You don't lose the material. Like if I click on that, it shows me the ones I've closed. And so I can open them up at any time and access them and maybe make a duplicate to, like this is for a conference. So I could have another one for a conference. Okay, so a workspace is the collection of your boards. Okay, so a basic template, I'll just go into that one first, is going to show you. So this is a basic one, just tasks to do, things that are in progress, when they're completed, and then if you need a follow-up. So this is just a basic template that I made. So maybe I was doing a blog. So as soon as I have those things done, I can move it to the next one and say it's in progress. I could title it. Then I could say it's completed. And then if it's a follow-up, I can add a note to it. So it's very flexible for anything that you're working on. And up here, I can change the color. So I can make it a different color if I want to. Let's go orange. Everything would go orange. Or I can choose a picture. Whatever you like. And then just change the picture. And then that stays on there. But if I go back, my toolbar is in the way again. If I go back to my workspace, you're going to see that now that's a different color. And you can have a picture, so it'll show you the picture. I'm visual, so I use pictures to quickly identify something. So this was my trip to Nova Scotia, so I have a picture from Nova Scotia. You know, this is networking, so I have a picture there. Sometimes I do pictures, sometimes I do colors. It's whatever you like, whatever you feel comfortable with when you're using it. And then the menus on the side that you can make adjustments. Does anybody use Trello? I should ask that first. Does anybody use Trello currently? Yes, Stephen uses it. Do you use it for personal or work, or do you use it for genealogy? Both. Good. Okay. How I started using it was for a trip. And so I've created a trip template, which I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you an actual of our trip. So my sister and I were going on a trip. It was a research trip. So we set up a board together. And so you can have boards that are just yours. So this is my packing list. So of course, my sister's not on this one. And you can set up a list for all the things that you want to make sure that you're taking with you. And as you pack them in the suitcase or put them wherever you're going to take them, you just check them off and it shows that that part is done. I have a personal list. Then I have, I want to take DNA kits with me. I want to take pedigree charts. If I need to take any forms, I put it all in here, all my computers. So my computer bag, my laptop and charger. I have a list here that every time I go on a trip, these are the things I want to make sure I have in my computer bag with me. And I'm not going to forget something. And this list is duplicated every time we go on a trip. And then if there's specific clothes that you want to take. So this is my personal one to get ready for the trip. For my sister, she has one as well. But then I also go by train. So I have one with a picture of the train that I'm using as a cue. When I open it, inside, I have all the things I need for my train. So when I book my tickets, I check it off, that's done. Did I print my boarding pass? Check it off, that's done. What's my baggage allowance? Make sure to take a battery, something to read. I have everything that I have learned from other trips that I should take with me. Then I put all my information in. I have my pass. I put down where I'm leaving from and the time, the car number, the train number, the seat number. All of these things are already in here. So when I get to the station, I can just open my app, click on Trello to this board, and I have all my information right there. I don't have to pull out anything, and I know exactly where I'm going. And so that was by train. We also do it by airplane. And so the same thing, I put a picture of whatever airline we're on. I book the ticket, have my passport, all of those things. Then I put all my information in, how to contact them, what time I need to arrive at the airport. If there's a baggage fee, I put all the information, the gate, everything in here that I'm going to need so that when I'm in the airport and everything's happening really fast, I can just open my app and all my information is right there. Then when we got there, we rented a car. So I put in all the information about renting the car and what we had already booked ahead, confirmation number, what time we're to pick it up, what's the location. And then once I get there, what time I have to drop it off, how much I paid for the deposit, what the license plate number is, important. And I have all of that information right on my app. Because when you sign into your hotel, they're going to want to know what your license plate number is, and it's not your regular car. Then for the hotel, we have all the information when we book it, if we used air miles or a discount, the confirmation number, all of that information. So when we get to the hotel, I just click on it and I've got all the information in front of me. I also take DNA kits because I want to test some of my family. So I have a template card set up for that. And so when I plan to visit them, do I have forms? Do I have a questionnaire, maybe with specific questions, a pedigree chart printed out for them, and family group sheets, blank ones, so I can fill it in quickly when they give me the information. And I make one of these for each one of the people I plan to visit and take a DNA test with. And same with a sibling, sibling, I might do extra. I might take photos. There might be a project we're working on, so I'll have extra things. But the checklist just gives you reminders of what you want to take when you're doing your planning before the trip. And you just put it all on your checklist. Then didn't want to do that. Then I go and I make cards for every place that we want to visit and any information that we need about it. We always go to Peggy's Cove, and that's just tourist. But if there's specific places that we want to visit, then we put it in there on the list, kind of like our wish list of where we want to visit, where we want to go shopping, where we want to eat. Is there a museum or an archive I want to visit? And as I have time, don't know how much time that's going to be, I can check it off. Restaurants, if there's a restaurant, I usually have a map if have not been there before. But every place that I go, I want to have a list of what I want to visit and then what's possible to visit. So it's like a wish list, and then you check off where you actually had time to go visit. If it's an archive, then I put in the information like if there's something that I need to pre-order. I've gone through the card catalog and I have to order this because it comes from another location. It's not just in the files there. Who the contact person is, what hours they're open. Also check what dates. We went once to archive and it closed the middle of October, and we got there like the 18th of October and had not checked the dates. We had just, when we checked it, it was open. When we got there, it wasn't. So make sure you check their dates if they're seasonal as well. If you haven't been there before, map and location, details where to park, if it's going to cost you, if it's going to cost you to research. If you have a membership, you want to make sure that you take your membership number so you don't have to pay the fee. Do you need an ID badge? If you go to Library and Archives Canada, you need an ID badge with a picture before you arrive. So check and make sure what their requirements are and what you need to take with you. And then make a list of what you want to search when you're there, what names you want to search, what certain kinds of records, all of those things. They're all in one place so that you know what you're going to do when you get there. Do as much online before you leave, and then only look at the things that you can only get at that archives in person, but have the other information with you so you're not searching and searching. So we have that, and we went to two different genealogy places. So again, all the information is there, when they're open, what I want to search, and a map if you haven't been there before. And then there was a museum there that we wanted to go and see. We had to take a ferry, so we had to get a ferry schedule to know when the ferry was going to coordinate. But again, as you do these things, you visit at these places, then you can check them off and you know where you've been, and you may go back again. Okay, and then if I take my kits, I want to know which kit I've taken for certain people. So I will have how many kits I have to take, and which pedigrees to print out, how many forms, and these are, do I have permission from them to upload to these websites? So as I'm there, I can check them off and make sure that I get permission from them to do that. Then the same on the way back, just in reverse. The rental, turn in the rental, when do you turn it in, what your return flight is, what my return train was, and you have all of that information preloaded in. It syncs with the website to your app on your phone, and it's at your fingertips at any time. And you might have a conference, but I have a separate board for that. So now I'm going to show you my actual. I'm going to go back up to the workspace. No, I can. So each workspace will list what's there. So here's a trip that I did in 2018. So just to show you, I've taken out some of the information. This was a simple, the first time we went and used this, so it's very basic. So I just had times when we leave, and it was okay. It kept the information. We went to a conference when we're there, so inside the conference cards, I would have a list of our number, get my syllabus, the schedule. It was very basic. But the next time that we went in 2022, that's when I had developed it further and added in the things that I needed to add in. And it made it much easier when we're on our trip to do those things, places to visit, people we wanted to go to, relatives, things we wanted to take or ask for, whether that was pictures or questionnaires, and had it all in here with the checklists. And all the places that we wanted to do. And that's the one that I've used the most, is the research trip, and have found it very beneficial. Any questions on what I've showed about using it for a research trip? Oh, Bev uses it. I'm looking at the chat. I haven't looked at it. Bev uses it for homeschooling. Kim uses it an account and started working it for genealogy, but haven't used it for a while. Susan said, beautiful photo. Thank you. Yes, it's more fun when you have a photo there kind of as a cue when you're looking quickly to know which card that you just want to touch and open with all of the information that's in it. And also addresses. If you're in a city, you want the addresses, you can upload a map to know where you're going. So we found it very helpful, because when you're there, you don't want to be looking up a lot of things. You want to have this all done before you go and enjoy your trip. Okay, any questions on using it for a research trip? No questions? Okay. And so then I just copied that out, made a template, and now I can just make a duplicate and add in all my information for my next one. And even like 3 months ahead, you can, when you book your flights, you can start adding the information and your hotel. Oh, I should show that one. I had the hotel in the other one. This one. Yeah, there's our hotel. And so we had the hotel where we stayed at, and all the information. I even went on the website and looked at captured some of the screenshots of what the room looked like as we planned. And again, just add in all of those information. And there's my map that I added so that we knew exactly off the highway, because we hadn't been there before, where to go. All in one place. Okay. I've also used it for a project. So let's go. So you change it in the workplace. So I've used it for clients. I have used it for clients. I haven't developed that one as much, but you can set up boards if you're doing client research or even research for a friend. This is where you would post your research plan, your research question, your list of things that you're going to have to look up, and then you move it over to tasks, and then you can have it there and have your checklist and what you found. Then you move it over in progress if you still need to do more, and when it's completed, and the follow-up. And as you're doing it, you can add notes, and it just keeps you on track. You're going to keep another document for the report, but this is an easy way to look back to see what have I done, what's checked off, what still needs to be done. And you can add cards, and we'll show you that in a minute here. I also did one for genealogy webinars, where to check. And then as I schedule them, yeah, that's not as good, that one. I've done it for presentations. You do a lecture title and do it along. I think I have one. Just hang on a second. I have that in my other one. It's in this one. A lecture. So I think I closed it out. Let's go down here. Presentations. So I'm just gonna open this one, and it's gonna put it back on my workspace. Presentations. And this is one that I did where I was going, where I was speaking, the description, what size description they wanted, what resources I needed, what the bio, which one they wanted. And so this is just a template that I use to add as I do it, as I create my title, as I create all these things, I check it off. It just gives me that checklist to make sure that I've got everything that I need for the presentation that I'm creating. And then as you do that, you can move it over. If I'm speaking somewhere, I usually add a flyer. After it's over, I put it over here if I need to do revisions to it. And I also add when it's scheduled. So maybe I'm updating one and then put over here when it's scheduled. So it's a way of a quick way to look and see when you're doing something and how far you are on getting it ready. But if I'm not using it right away, you go to these three dots and you can close the board. Close the board, close it, and then it goes down to the bottom and it's kept there, but you're not taking up your 10 open boards. Oops. Let's go back over here. And so then it just goes back down. So if you're not using something right away, you can put it down. If you're doing social media, you can make lists of what you want to do on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or Instagram. You can create a card and post your ideas. So any questions before I start another demonstration? Can you put a live link to a place that you want to see? Yes. Yes. And then you can just click on it. I think I had the website for the archive there and for the hotel. And it makes it a live link. So then you can just click it and the website will open. So say I wanted to create a family Facebook group. So I would add the card and I could keep adding more cards, but inside that card, then I could start my list. What do I want to do? So I want a checklist. I can name my checklist. So I can put family to invite. So it would add that. And so then I can start putting names in of the people I want to invite. I can make another checklist. Maybe it's photos that I want to post in that family group to share. And I can make a list of the photos that I want to upload. I can make as many of these checklists in this card as I want, or I can make a card for each checklist that then I can move over as it progresses. I can add a picture. So if I add a picture, let's add a picture, desktop, Trello, because I have all my photos here that I used. So if I'm adding a picture, okay, I want to go, okay. So there's a picture of a blue nose for Lunenburg. I can add a link right there. So if I have a link to the blue nose, I can put it there and then attach the link right under it. I can pull from these places. I can invite other people to this board. I know my sister's going to be in here. Not a member. Okay, I'd have to go. So, but you can add members to your board so you can share. So if you're doing a project, you can collaborate on a project to work on together. So there's my picture. I can make this picture the cover. Maybe I have to click on it. No, I can make that the cover. Okay, let me go back out. Cover. So I can choose that picture to be my cover, or I can do a color, or I can do a generic one, so that when I go back out and I look at my card, it should have the picture on it, which it did not. Okay, just hang on. Maybe if I refresh the page. And you need to play around with it a little bit too. It's not showing it. Okay, edit, change the cover. Always make sure you say save. Upload a cover image. Okay. There's the cover. So I can change the cover. I can change who has access to this board. I can edit labels. I can move this board. So say I have it under social media right now, but I want to move it to my Nova Scotia trip. So I can move it there. It'll even ask you which list you want it in and which position on the list that you want it. And then you can move it to another board. You don't have to do it. Or you can make a copy of it. And then what do you want to include? Where do you want to send it? So you don't have to do it over and over again. But as you're working on it, I can also move it over to the different ones. Social media might not have been a good one to do that. Practical ways. I can have what I want to do for the weekend. Maybe you have a weekend that you can do research all weekend. You can make a list of what you would like to do as you're doing them. You can say, okay, I'm going to do this on Saturday. I'm going to do another one on Sunday. And as you go through, you can make a checklist. Maybe you want to work on a certain family. Maybe you want to go visit somewhere. You can have that checklist. And when it's completed, it's over here. And the beauty is it stays here. If you want to look at it a year later, 2 years later, that checklist is still there. And you can add notes to where you've filed it, which folder it's in, which filing cabinet it's in, all of those kind of things. I also use it for courses. And that is, I think, in this one. Nope. Courses. So for my Institute courses, you could set up one of these for a course that you were working on. You could put the course overview in here before you start it. You can upload documents maybe that was in that are relevant to it that you want to have when you work on the course. You can add websites here. You can save your assignments on documents and upload them there. You can put each module, what assignments, assignment 1, assignment 2, and then as they're completed, you could check them off. Right up to 6, your exam, what you need to do for that, and make a list of your recommended reading. And then you can close the board, save it, and if you ever want to go back and find something about that course or something, maybe a document that you had uploaded here or a recommended reading that you couldn't remember where it was, it's saved on that board in your Trello. Even if you're in Nova Scotia or another country, wherever you have internet, you have to have internet access, you can access those files. This one was for blogs. If you're doing blogs, this was a template that I copied from Trello, and we're going to look at templates in a minute. So ideas, who are you going to ask somebody to write a blog post for you? Things that you're going to post on your blog, things you're going to write for your blog. This was a template. The date, is it in progress? Is it published? And then resources that you can add. But you can customize all of these. You can change the title. You can change the checklist. You can make it whatever you want. So at the workspace is where you change to your different boards, and each board can have 10, each workspace can have 10 boards. So Trello will suggest templates, so you don't have to create it all. So here's one, a meeting agenda. It's already set up. Maybe you're going to meet with a group of researchers, or you're meeting with your genealogy society. You can have this all set up, what you want to share, what you want to talk about, who's going to be there, what the goals are, all of these things. And if it's an ongoing project, you just keep moving the cards for what needs to be done, who's going to do it, when it's done, all in one place. So they will suggest things. So you choose a category. I chose education. You can click here for the full list, and it will give you suggestions of education. Choose it on the side here. Teaching, if you're teaching, what a weekly planner, a remote class template, stay organized. Let's look at that one. So here again, it's the resources you need, your weekly assignments, your projects, your exams, everything can be in one place, and it's already set up. You just customize it yourself, and you just save it to your workspace. And so they have lots of templates that you can go through and see if something is applicable to your projects. You can make a whole research plan out of Trello. You can do a storyboard if you're doing a writing project. You can make the cards with covers for topics and set it all up visually, and what you need, a checklist at the back, what you need for each one of those topics in your story. You can do it for blog posts. You can do it for a research project. If you're working with family and each person's going to do a different part, maybe even a different child in that family, upload everything they found, and then it's all together, and each one can look at the other, what's happening, and have it all together and collaborate. Okay, in the demo, I was going to show you the very end. Patience. So you can flip back and forth, and you can start fresh and make your own. But I find the templates very useful to be able to set it up and just customize it. Why double work? This is one that comes with it when you get your account, and it walks you through the basics, welcome, and this is a card, what's behind it, and it walks you through each one, how you can color code ones, change the background, all of the things that you need to customize your cards, and then even on how to use the apps are all on this. So if I go back to our guide, it will also walk you through all of those things, how to create your first project. It will walk you through step by step how to do it. Just use the guide. And then how to invite other people to be on those boards with you and working on things and work together. And that's how I use Trello. Okay, I'm going to ask if there's any questions. Can you put a live link in place that you want to see? Yes, I think we did answer that. Okay, any questions? Okay, Stephen, you said that you do use it. Do you use it in a different way, or is there a tip that you have from using it that you can share with us? And you can open and talk.
I use it like we're getting ready to move, so I'm using it right now. One of the boards is on our move, getting the movers and all that kind of stuff. I also am in other schools besides this one, and I track all my assignments and things in that. As far as genealogy, I do have a genealogy business, but it hasn't started yet. So I'm tracking supplies and resources currently.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Awesome. And like, just as you, because I've moved multi times. So like, don't forget to set up where your mail's going to go, all your change of address. You can
Right.
make a whole list, because once it comes, things go pretty fast. So anything that you can do ahead that requires a list of things to remember, you can have it on the boards. And like,
Yeah, I do
especially,
it. I'm doing it by like 8 weeks out, 6 weeks,
yes,
all the way up to move day, and then 2 weeks past that, past the
awesome.
move,
Awesome.
on things we need to double check, and check off.
And it's free. Like, there are paid versions as well, and companies probably would, overdo the 10 boards, but it is so many different uses. And use the templates. The templates will even give you ideas of what, there's probably even a moving one in there.
Yeah,
that,
there is.
that may give you, that will give you ideas that you didn't think about to add to your list. And it'll show you the ones that you just did. I like it. I don't use it for everything, but I like it on a research trip or setting up my presentations, or even, I haven't used it as a project, but I can see where it would be good to do it that way.
Yep. Yeah, I was debating whether I stick with Trello or go with ClickUp. They
Mhm.
both basically do the same things, but after what you've shown, there were some good pointers in this that I may just stick with Trello. They're the same price, so I want to upgrade, I think. You just have to be careful if you want several users on there. If you upgrade from the free, it's whatever that cost is times however many people you have.
Good,
Uh,
good to know that.
yeah, like I had put in another person, and when I went to pay I thought it was just $60, and it turned out to be 120. So I took that person out.
Yeah, but that's good to know ahead of time that you got to watch
Mhm.
for that. But
Yeah.
just the ability, like 10 boards, the ability to close it and then have it down here saved to go back to it when you want to do it, that's awesome. And
Right.
only have active what you're actually doing right now. And then the workspaces, I've made 3 workspaces and I'm still on the free account.
Yeah, I have what do I got? 8 right now.
Very good. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen unless somebody else has a question. Was this helpful? Good. Yes, good. And my purpose was to get you thinking, give you some ideas to maybe see how you could use it in your own projects. I made it kind of general so that you could customize it to how it works for you, but it has worked very good on those research trips and giving those, when you're traveling, you want all of those confirmation numbers and times and all of those things in one place. And it's all in one place. And then making the template of that to just duplicate and keep adding the information as we do the trips. Once we can travel again now, then it's all there, because I'm not gonna remember what I did in 2018. That's 5 years ago. So having that list that I can look back on and say, oh yeah, it was useful to bring this. Oh, I didn't think about my umbrella. Oh, I didn't really use my umbrella. Should I take it? All of those kind of things. Because you adjust your checklist after you use it, then you add things, you delete things that weren't useful, you move them around. You big long checklists you make into individual cards. I'm visual, so I like the colors, the labels, the pictures, picture cues, all of those things. And it's portable. You do have to have internet to access it, but you should be able to on your phone with your data. So as long as you have internet access, you can it syncs with your with the website to the app. Okay, if there's no more questions, then I'm going to stop the recording.